one.
One of the newest and most used parenting techniques that I see around throughout the day is the constant handing your child a device in order to keep them quiet and distracted. According to the Pew Research Center, 62% of parents let their kids aged 3 to 4 use smartphones. Whether you're letting them go on YouTube or any other streaming service, it may feel like it's worth it since it keeps them quiet and gives you some time to relax and stay calm. However, technology should not be used as a substitute for parenting, as it could decrease growth in the brain development, increase the risk of watching inappropriate content, and could even cause behavioral issues. So, oftentimes, parents who just put on a kid friendly video for their child tend to leave it at that without any proper supervision. The hours of screen time are likely to cause them trouble and in the learning department of their brain. And this matters because you need to know what you're choosing on the content that your child watches. So the most popular channel on YouTube is Cocomelon. And the reason why this channel is so addicting to children is because of the constant flashing lights and the bright neon colors. A Your Story article claims overstimulation can make it harder for your kids to enjoy activities that aren't as stimulating. So what this means is if your child is constantly watching Cocomelon all the time, they might have trouble with their attention spans, and this makes it harder to focus on slow-paced activities, such as learning in the classroom. Instead of shows like Cocomelon, try shows such as Bluey. Bluey teaches gentle lessons without the obnoxious noises and colors. And as you can see over here on the pictures of the show, that the colors aren't neon at all. And if you watch the show, you'll notice that it has gentle music and it doesn't switch scenario every 3 to 4 seconds. This doesn't mean to always put on shows though. You need to make sure to put a limit on the technology and make sure to spend more time with your kids outside. According to an Action for Children article, sensory play promotes brain development. What this means is that your child is more likely to know their surroundings around them if they are the ones experiencing it, rather than watching it on the phone and watching someone else do it for them. And it also just creates a much more emotional connection and stronger for you and the child. Spending more time with your children is the best way to help them learn about the world, but leaving them unsupervised on websites like YouTube could put them at a risk of watching inappropriate content. If there was one piece of information I'd like for all of you guys to remember, it would be to avoid YouTube at all costs. According to an ACPC psychology article, it took 13 clicks on YouTube to encounter famous cartoon characters doing things such as suicide. And you can see over here on the second screenshot, it shows like Minnie being dismantled in the elevator. That's what your kid may be watching if you aren't paying attention to them. And over here on the first screenshot, you could see that it's actually my own YouTube browser where I searched up the words Mickey Mouse, and with just a few seconds of scrolling, you could see over here there's a video called Horror Mickey Mouse Transformations. Obviously, no child should have to watch these kinds of videos as it could haunt them and it makes them really scared. These channels do not have your kids' safety at heart. They're mass produced just to create more revenue and to get more views. They don't care at all, which is why you shouldn't be on YouTube at all. Even on YouTube Kids, these videos flood the whole website, which is why I don't recommend it at all. Dangerous and inappropriate websites are more likely to be discovered by the child if you don't pay attention to them. And if they're on strange websites that allow them to talk to strangers, they are more prone to being victims of grooming. According to Bravehearts, grooming describes the preparatory stage of child sexual abuse that offenders use to gain trust and compliance of a child or young person, and to establish secrecy and silence to avoid disclosure. Grooming may occur in person or online. This meaning that the chances of being groomed increases. Remember this when you leave them with your phone unsupervised. These kids are easily exposed to content that don't prioritize their safety. But apart from being exposed to it, they also may face the dangers of developing behavioral issues, an increase in temper tantrums. Connecting this to grooming, if you suspect that your child is being groomed, here are the signs to watch out for. They may, out of nowhere, they may become more secretive. They start to develop depression or anxiety disorders. Now, to a parent's point of view, if you're not very educated on grooming, you may view these behaviors as them misbehaving. But in reality, if they are subject to being groomed, these may be reactions to threat. This may be what they were taught online, or they could simply be taking out their anger on you. You never know. Educate them on the dangers of talking to people online. Just like how you normally tell them to not talk to strangers in real life, you also need to teach this to them about online websites. So it's your job as a parent to make sure they're being safe. Not only does this matter, this matters because it's not common knowledge for kids. They're just starting to learn. Moving on, according to NIH, it can impair emotional comprehension, promote aggressive behavior, and hinder social and emotional competence. What this means basically is that the child may think that the phone is their right. If they start to notice the pattern of that they throw temper tantrums and they are constantly rewarded with the phone, they will continue this cycle over and over again. So it's best to not give them the phone at all until they are at an appropriate age to understand when to use the phone and when not to. So in conclusion, technology is used every day, and I often see a child on the phone watching videos without their parents paying much attention. The next generations to come will depend on us, but if we immediately introduce them to technology, chances are that we will decrease the chances of growth and brain development, increase the risk of watching inappropriate content, and increase the chances of behavioral issues. Technology may be an easy way to distract your kid for a while, but will the psychological consequences be worth it in the end? Thank you.